Hey, are you concerned about protecting that brand new pretty sled that you just got? Here's the solution. Use SledSend 24 for a 15% off discount code on some backwoods bumpers, the industry leader in performance protection.
SledSend listeners, welcome back to the next episode of the SledSend podcast. We are currently hanging out at our local dealership, Morrow County Grain Growers here in Lexington, Oregon. This is going to be a fun episode. We've got Shay, unfortunately, wasn't able to make these episodes, so he's not here. But we do have our other athlete. We've got Coby with us, and then super special guest, we've got Cliff Dougherty, Coby's dad.
Easy on that super special guest.
Hey. And if any of you have ever met Coby in person, it's a guarantee that you've heard at least one story about Cliff. So
pretty close to.
Or
there's
if
a lot of them.
This is Jeff's first time getting to meet Cliff, and Jeff's probably heard 300 stories about Cliff.
Gosh.
So you've got a lot to live up to, Cliff.
I don't know about that.
There's been some pretty
I
good
hope they're all good.
They're all good.
So yeah, we've kind of, this has kind of been in the works for a while. We've talked about having your dad on before.
Yep.
We talked about it a little bit, actually, at my shop. Remember that one time out there?
Yep. Yeah, we did. Making it happen.
Right.
So yeah, this episode, we're just going to kind of BS a little bit and give an intro to you, Cliff. And obviously, I know you a little bit, but nobody knows you better than Coby. So
well, he might not. He might have some bad things to say or good things. I don't know. Be nice, Coby.
I think it goes both ways, probably. I mean, you probably have some good and bad things to say about your son, I'm sure, too. So it probably evens it out.
All good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I only do good things.
So, so with that being said, Coby, you kind of want to start us off on?
I don't need to start much off. You need to tell them who you are.
Well, I'm Coby's dad, Cliff Dougherty, obviously. We have a farm and a ranch out there on Sand Hollow, Spur Loop out there. We got hay, we have cattle, we got wheat. Actually got a big rock pit. We do a little rock work too. It's a family farm. My granddad got in there back in the 50s.
Okay.
My dad took it over when he was very young. Something about the Doughertys, our lifespan's a little bit short. Don't know about that, but Granddad died when he was like in the 50s. Okay. My dad got cancer, died when he was 62.
Okay.
Hopefully I'm close there. I think I got it made almost because I'm 60 right now.
Past the line. Okay.
And I don't have anything bad going on, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, that's
so, so I'm like the third generation out the ranch.
Okay. Nice.
So
that keeps you busy.
Yeah, sure. It does. Then I got some helpers, and then kids, Coby's home, and my daughter, got 3 kids. So 2 daughters and Coby's my last one.
Yep.
Snowmobiling wise, my dad clear back in in 75, 77, the good old days, Jag 3000. I don't know if anybody ever knows about that stuff.
Yeah.
My dad got involved in it a little bit.
Yeah.
He drug a couple home for us, and that's how we got started. Okay. And always liked it. I rodeoed a lot. That was probably my number one thing at that time. I like to do that.
So how old were you when you started riding? Like your first time?
We were. I was young, probably 12, 13.
Okay.
So my first snowmobiles that I actually, once I got going, I actually bought an Invader, Kawasaki Invader. I think it was like a 78 from a guy. Mm-hmm. That was my first snowmobile that was kind of a hot rod.
Yeah.
And followed that. I had it during college, so when I went to college, I did more rodeo than that. But then it kind of got into the winter thing. Well, how I got jumped into the business and all that is a guy down here that used to have the dealership here. Mm-hmm. His name was Gene Orwick. And our farm, when Dad was there, it was kind of like...
His name is Gene Orwick.
What's that?
Careful on the was. G. Norvik, he's still
Oh,
alive.
he is. We just had dinner with him.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it that way. Sorry about that.
You're good.
So,
You're fine.
You can butt in if you want to and tell me whatever.
Oh, I know I can. Keep going.
Okay. So, short story there. Off and on, I went to work for him.
Okay.
And he owned the lumber yard and the snowmobile business. It was Arctic Cat originally.
Okay.
And back at the, mid-'80s or something, Arctic Cat had some issues. So he ended up taking Polaris on. And that's where it all started with me. So I'd work in there. I'd feed cows in the morning with my dad, and then I'd go in there during the winter, and I would work. And I actually looked over his shoulder for about 2 years, learned all the motors, how to build them, how to do everything. He basically taught me all that.
Okay.
Kind of got into running the business a little bit more with him. They went on, when they'd go on trips or do something like that, I would stay down there and run the store.
Okay.
So, got involved in that.
How old were you when you started all that?
Well, when I got back from college.
Okay.
So probably, it was probably 22, 23 in that age group right in there, I think.
And not to backtrack, but just out of curiosity, what were you doing within rodeo?
I did 3 events mostly: calf rope, bulldogged, and team roped.
Okay.
So, and I did it all through high school rodeo, junior rodeo, into college, did all the college stuff, and then I did mostly amateur rodeos and stuff. I never did go to the big time. I did have my card and permit, like I'd rope at Pendleton and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I rodeoed with a bunch of my neighbors. Everybody heard of the Kern boys and all that. I rodeoed a lot with them. Gotcha. So, and they live right over next to most of them. They're born and raised in Butter Creek.
Okay. Yeah.
So, did all that until, later down the road, I got hurt, wounded, couldn't do it no
it's
more.
Only a matter of time.
Got busy. You get old sometime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had to hang it up.
I know. It's a tough. So, besides that, on the going out with the snowmobile deal, we end up running. I worked with Gene on that business for years, and I'm not sure when the guys took it over here.
When did he switch from Arctic Cat
Oh, that was back right off the bat.
to Polaris, or when
it was in like 80. Let me just throw that 87, 88 probably.
Okay.
I think that might be right.
Okay.
I remember I snow checked my first sled. I rode some different stuff there at the dealership, but my first sled that came out, I think my first one that I snow checked was like an 89 Polaris Indy 650.
Okay.
And from there on, hate to say this, it's kind of embarrassing, but I sold and traded and worked for the dealership, and I had snow checked a snowmobile. I only missed 1 year, and if I remember right, that was in 93. Mm-hmm. I did not snow check. That was the year they came out with it was a 750 Storm. Pretty sure that's right, because there have been a lot of sleds since back then.
Yep. Yep.
So I had snow checked and basically traded, swapped sleds every year. You could do it, back in the day pretty easy. I could ride it all year, probably not hardly lose no money, sell it to a buddy.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and I'd snow checked pretty much every since then up until nowadays.
That's a lot of sleds.
That's a lot of sleds.
Yeah.
You don't want to figure all that out, but once you
figure all that out,
that's a lot of money. Yeah. But once you get into it and swap, it's
yeah,
you get a lot of money back, your trade-ins and all
soon
that
it's
stuff.
just money on top.
Mm-hmm. So
you've definitely seen a lot of evolution.
a lot of changes.
Polaris.
A lot of we go and you can go back into the Indy days, and then you get to everybody remember the vertical escapes came out. Mm-hmm. That was in the 2000s, 2000, I think 2, 3, and 4 came out with those. Mm-hmm. Man, thought it can't get no better than this.
Yeah, every year.
And we'd go to the big mountains, we rode McCall, and we went places in Idaho and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Went to Canada.
Yeah.
Don't know they're different until you get into nowadays, and then they just keep changing them.
Yeah. So back then, were you pretty into modding and building out sleds and?
Well, I did a lot of that.
Yeah.
Did a lot of motors. I had my own. We did hot to go kits. They were out of like New York, and you would put bigger cylinders, bigger pistons. I could go on a lot. We did that for quite a few years before they started coming out with like the bigger, when they came out with the 800 Storms and stuff like that. They were the big triples. I was modifying the XCR 600s. I'd put big bore kits on them.
Okay.
And then they were 121s. short tracks.
Yeah.
Well, I'd put a 141 on it, put a big 1.5 inch, maybe 2-inch paddles. We'd drill the suspensions out. We'd cut tunnels. You have to change all the drivers, change the gearings, and we'd extend them out a little bit, and that was what our big horsepower long tracks were.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mods going on in that time because they didn't come out with these sleds like nowadays. They're kind of a mod sled. Polaris built a mod sled almost out of the box.
Yeah, right.
So we did a lot of that. 4 people, down at the dealership, we had a few guys that say, hey, make this sled for me, and we'd build those sleds up and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and I ran with that through that dealership for a long, long time with Gene, the guy that owned it.
Yeah.
And then eventually when he wanted to sell it, I was more so back and forth. Kind of changed subject on that. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Back and forth on the ranch and the farm and the dealership. He wanted me to buy the dealership, and I can't do both.
Right.
I was kind of scared to take it on, because you kind of run it. It was a personal dealership, so we ran it. I'd work it till midnight at night to get a guy going so he could ride on Friday.
Yeah.
It was that kind of a deal.
Yeah.
I did a lot of late nights. I built mod sleds. I'd go ride them on Wednesday night, overhaul them so I could ride on the weekend.
Wow.
So it was crazy.
Die hard.
Did a lot of, we'd have to change all the carburetors on them and all kinds of different things because that didn't have fuel injection back then.
I was going to say, which you could because there's no computers you got to get by, no emails back and forth really to Polaris. It was
in 1990. Polaris came out with RXLs. That was their first computerized fuel injection machines.
Okay.
They were okay.
Yeah.
That was where it kind of started. So,
Gotcha.
But then we just we rode those and did all that, and then moved on, and then we started getting into the other sleds, and then of course sold a lot of accessories down through there. You'd sell just all kinds of things. You'd sell hooks for them. You'd sell the skid plates, kind of like you do a lot now, but extra bumpers, skis, a lot of skis, aftermarket skis.
Yeah.
You go clear back in time, we were still running them old skis, steels.
Yeah, steel. Yeah.
So a lot of changes on that.
Yeah.
So, and then that dealership, I was going back and forth. I couldn't buy it myself. My brother worked for... he was working for Grain Growers, this place here where we're at.
Yep.
And he was working for other places. Well, he decided to buy the business.
Okay.
And so so Scott bought the business. I worked with him. We had it for quite a few years. Probably made a big mistake. I did a lot of the dealing. I had a lot of customers that I did a lot of Snowchecked stuff. I wasn't as much. He was real good doing the four-wheelers.
Okay.
And probably... which Grain Growers sells tons and tons of them, as the side-by-sides.
Yeah.
Well, we sold the business about the time the side-by-sides came out. And I was a guy that said, who in the hell is going to buy a side-by-side for $10,000?
Yeah.
You have four-wheelers.
Yeah.
And you know what side-by-sides do now?
Yep. Yeah, look at them today.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how I got started, all that, did all the, and I still my passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting harder, get a little older, but these sleds now, an old man can still ride these things.
Yeah, that's facts.
And I talked to a lot of my older friends and stuff, and if we didn't have these ones now and we were still riding some of the, we couldn't ride them.
Yeah.
I mean, we had back braces on, knee braces.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something. So these are like Cadillacs riding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool.
So, speak on kind of your influence for getting Coby involved in snowmobiling. So, your two sisters, were they?
Yeah, they rode.
Okay.
Taylor rode more than Ryan, my middle daughter. But we all rode. They would ride. We had a cabin in the mountains, and they'd ride right in front of us. Mm-hmm. They'd hang on to the deal, and we had them all their little gear, and they'd sleep, and we'd ride. But we talked about going like to our cabin and stuff. They would go. We'd take them on a 100-mile ride.
Heck yeah.
We'd go to Anthony Lakes, and we'd ride, and they'd ride with us.
Yeah.
So until they got big enough to ride their own.
Yep.
And so, of course, I was always trading because I was involved in it through there. Right. So I always had spares.
Yep.
I'd get a good trade from somebody, and that's how I got the kids involved in it.
Gotcha.
It was Coby's first, it was like a Dragon-style 600. and it fell off of a trailer. And I bought it back from the insurance company, and I fixed it all up for him. And that's what I think that was his first, the better style sled, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably one of his first ones. And then I think he had an Assault.
Had a 550 Indy first. Where'd you get that
Well, yeah,
from?
that goes quite a ways. Oh, I don't know. Probably got it on a trade from somebody.
Probably got it on a trade from somebody.
Yeah.
Had that one.
So,
then the Assault.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
So,
What, if you could go all the way back, do you have a favorite year of Snowchecked besides any of the new ones?
Hey, what's up, guys? I want to take a quick second to introduce another one of this year's sponsors. We have RSI. So the handlebar setup on your sled is arguably probably one of the most important components on your whole setup. So definitely check out their site. They've got a ton of different products, and use SledSend 24 at checkout for a discount.
Post date. I mean,
I was always a horsepower guy. They finally came out with 800 Storm, and that's when I was doing the hot to go kits. I was making them in 800, and they came out with them. They were kind of big and bulky, but we were fast and the horsepower, and we didn't climb the big mountains until springtime.
Sure.
So we would ride. You go to Bend and ride the trails to Bend, and they're fast. I mean, I would gear them up and pump them up. We'd do 110 mile an hour on them.
Oh, that's so fast.
we used to ride them fast.
Yeah,
And then in the spring, you would take them and get them in the hills because you could do that.
Yeah, right.
When the big deep powder was, you stayed down. You didn't get the big hills. You didn't see it you'll see them, but not during like now we crave for 3 feet, 4 feet of powder.
Yeah.
Our sleds love it. We love it.
Yep.
Back then, you didn't love it.
Back then, you didn't love it.
I mean, weren't you in the pickup when I was telling about McCall when we were there?
Oh, yeah,
When we were going to the yacht club, I think
Yeah.
after coming out, and I said we had an old group with a whole bunch of us. There was like 15 or 20 of us.
Yeah.
It snowed like 5 feet there.
Yeah.
Everybody, we all had a trail, and we were headed out of the town there, out of like the parking lot.
Yeah.
And everybody just goes. No groomer was never, and it was like 4 or 5 feet. And back then, you just go, and pretty soon I'd look back, everybody was just stuck behind you.
Yeah.
All you do is dig all day long. It was just like a little trail ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Dig all day long.
That's a workout after a while.
you guys, we dig all day long sometimes now, but we work at it to do that.
Yeah.
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 So
Takes
that
a
was
lot to
back
get
in the
there.
day. You might get 20 miles and you have dug and had a long day.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's understandable because I don't know if you
didn't know
guys
any
have rode
different.
too much with older sleds, but I know when we still take our group from time to time, we'll be out there and you'll be in wherever the bunch of snow, and you look at the poor whoever's daughter that's a friend that's riding an old M7 or some vertical escape, and they're stuck and not having fun and sweating, and everybody's pulling them out, and you're just going, yeah, that's why you buy new sleds right there.
Yeah.
That's why you buy new ones.
So.
Yeah, but I mean, at the time when those were, the newest thing, you didn't know any different.
we didn't have any difference unless you were doing some kind of a mod type sled,
Yeah. So have you spent most of your snowmobile career like riding pretty local? I mean, you spend most of your time in Idaho,
we took trips and stuff. Like I said, I never went to Wyoming and rode. We rode it up past Whistler, Pemberton.
Okay.
We rode the Pemberton ice caps.
Yeah,
we did that in 2003 and 4, right in there.
So did you just do that once or twice?
I tried twice.
Okay, so when was the
first time we were successful?
Okay, so the second time
a year later, or the next, I can't remember if it was a year later or 2 years later. I remember I had a brand new crew cab Ford F350. It was a 2000, and I think it was brand new. So we're right in that area, right in there, if I remember right.
I've heard
second
this
trip,
story.
We stopped and was going to stay, and we went downtown, had a little fun, and got back, and no rig, no trailer, no snowmobiles, no nothing.
Yeah.
So we got the whole outfit. The whole outfit got stolen.
Gone.
And so we had a little fiasco in Canada and spent quite a few days, 2 or 3 days there trying to find some stuff. Never did find it.
No.
So that trip wasn't very successful. We had a bunch of crew come out of Central Oregon that we always rode with down out of Prineville.
You sure tamed that story down.
I know I did. Well, I don't know how in depth you want to be on that one.
I want all the secrets. Just tell it, and if it gets gnarly, we can cut it out.
No, it's fine. First year we all went there, and I don't know, you guys, it everybody's been to strip clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
Vancouver, BC.
Uh-huh.
Probably get in trouble.
No,
I'll be
you're fine.
careful.
You're fine.
Some of the finest in the world.
The finest in the world.
I've been to Vegas and been some places, but that's good.
Okay.
Well, it was our crew had a good time.
Okay.
And first time everybody did it, we were successful and didn't get nothing taken. So we were pretty excited. The next year or two after that, we're going to go. We'll kind of do the same routine and everything.
Yep.
And of course, we went downtown and kind of knew the spots because we'd been there before. And
Yep.
late night when we got home, and that's kind of what when we got home that night. I don't know. I think they set us up or something there at the motel because they had a big deal in Canada. I'm going to skip over some of that.
Yeah, you're
but
fine.
that's when they had a lot of thefts in Canada. They were losing a lot of rigs and trailers and snowmobiles.
Okay.
So I don't know if there was kind of a ring thing going on.
So
up
it was
there.
a pattern of.
We got caught in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
That was your passport and all that stuff. in the
everything.
rig?
We had a mess because we were so excited to get downtown and have a little fun with the boys.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, don't worry about
Don't
it."
know
And we got
anything
right
about
through the
that.
border. We got right through the border too. The first time we went, they pulled us over and they stripped our rigs and searched them with dogs. So the next time we went, I told everybody there was 4 or 5 of us in my pickup, and I said, "Everybody just have all your license, titles, everything. We'll just put them all in a pile. I got them in a folder. We'll hand them to them. We'll get." Because last time I said we got checked and all that going through because they were pretty picky.
Yeah.
And we always take a few beers, with us and maybe a jug of whiskey to take up there.
Yeah.
Well, the first time we had too much and they took stuff from it. You've
had
heard
too
about those
much.
stories getting in there.
Yeah.
So I had told everybody, man, we got to have all this stuff right for the next time.
Sure.
Drove up to the window. The guy looked at us. How you guys doing? What are you doing? And I'm going, oh, we're just going snowmobile. And he goes, you guys have a great time. Never checked nothing. And so we went right through. And then that's I told everybody, leave everything in the pickup.
Yeah.
Just get our essentials. Luckily we took our clothes in the motel.
Okay.
But I left a lot of stuff. I handed them all. I got all my titles to snowmobiles, everything. I had 2 sleds in there. My buddies all had. I think we had 4 or 5 in my trailer.
Yeah.
And
Gone.
so we lost everything. I was so excited. I even left all my extra cash because you got to do the Canadian change a lot
sure.
back then, not as much. So I left a bunch of cash in my jockey box, and in the deal and.
Those thieves scored
We didn't
big
have
time.
much. We didn't have We did have some cell phones, but we had no chargers because everything was in the rig. And shoot, it was a fiasco. So made not a very good trip out of that one.
Yeah.
What'd you do when you came back? Found out your trailer was gone?
It wasn't much fun. We'd had quite a bit to drink, So I remember I'll have to tell this on my buddy. His name was Robert, and he's a great big guy.
Yeah.
Big old heavy duty fella, and he was with us.
Okay.
And we get to the counter, and there's I think the guy was maybe Japanese or something.
Uh-huh.
And so finally, after the taxi driver goes to like 4 motels and goes, boys, because we were kind of drinking.
They pulled up to the motel. He's skipping Lily. They pulled up to the motel and they go, "Oh, you bastard! You took us to the wrong hotel. This ain't our hotel."
This ain't our hotel.
Because you didn't see your truck and trailer.
Because we parked it right
And so
on the side right there, and they said, "You guys are fine."
I guess before they took off, the hotel was like, "You guys should park all right out there together, and you guys will be good right out there."
So,
and it was, I don't know if it was where you could or couldn't see it.
well, the
Wasn't
guys
there.
told us it was fine because we double checked it. Like I said, we went in, checked into our motel.
Yeah.
So when we go downtown, after we get back done, we've all had quite a bit, and it was pretty late. Taxi driver drives us to the motel because we told him where we were. Get there, and he said, "Well, you screwed up, taxi driver, whatever." I said, "This ain't where we are." Of course, we were making fun of the taxi. He says, "Well, I'll take you to the next motel, So I can't remember if it was a Holiday Inn Express or whatever.
Sure.
But he goes to about 4 motels. He goes, "Boys, you got to be at one of these, or I don't know where I'm taking you." And we're going. Finally, we kind of get going. Oh God, something's going on. So we finally figure out. Take us back to that first one, because we know that's right. We got there, and we unloaded, and then we went in there, and that's when the fiasco was on. That guy, we went in there and said, "Hey, our rig is not out here, so you guys told us we could park here. Everything was good." And the guy inside there at the counter goes something about didn't even want to help us. Okay. And I said, "You better get somebody on the phone here." I said, "Because if it got towed, I'll pay the tow fee, but you guys told me it was." And so the guy kind of biggered. He said, "I can't remember if our cell phones are dead or something." I said, "Can you call the tow places or something?" I said, "Because, we're screwed. We're in a pickle."
Shit out of luck.
Yeah.
And
in Canada,
the guy didn't want to help
back
much.
then.
The guy didn't want to help much. Finally, Robert, this big old feller, he just reached right across the counter, and he dragged this little guy he grabbed him by the collar, and he dragged him over top the counter, and he says, "You better get some cops on the phone right now, or it'll be the last thing you ever." That guy was stuttered, and he ding, 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 ding. He picked on that deal. So then we got cops there, and this poor gal shows up, and we're drunk, and we go, "Roscoe Poho train." Remember the cops on Dukes of Hazzard or whatever? Yeah. Oh my God! So this is what went on for a while because it was kind of a joke because I figured just they towed us because of the parking. Well, come to find out, as it all was done, it wasn't. We couldn't find it at the tow truck shop or nothing like that. So end up being a long couple days after that. I bet. So.
I bet. Yeah, that's wild stuff.
Did they end up finding something, didn't they?
End up finding my pickup after we found the trailer after a couple days.
Okay. It was a big old mess. How'd you get home and all that?
Well, I called my cousin. He lives up in Washington, up by Spokane.
Yeah.
And so we called my cousin, and he got us in a Suburban.
Called my cousin.
And picked us up, our load, because there was all of us guys. So he picked us up. We were on the way back, he was taking us home, and then my brother was going to come meet us in Spokane from Heppner, Lexington. And we got a phone call. Said, "Hey, we found the trailer." So we turned around and went back through the border. We didn't have nothing. Go through, give our name, goes, "You boys have had a rough one, haven't you, at the border patrol?" Because they knew, they had all our stuff. So went back, got the trailer. Everything was gone out of the trailer. I had a nice enclosed interstate trailer. Yeah. And everything was locked, all that. They broke through our stuff, so it wasn't like we left the keys in the rig or nothing like that. So, long story short, we finally got the trailer. He takes us back. We meet it. They never did find any of the snowmobiles. I think there was an Arctic Cat. My buddy had an Arctic Cat. After about 2 or 3 months, they did find an Arctic Cat, but he already collected his money and stuff.
Busted a big warehouse.
But I lost all, I had to collect on everything. Of course, I had everything insured. But I didn't get any of my stuff back. And when we went to Canada, riding back in those days, we took a lot of stuff.
Sure.
I had extra skis. We had extra parts. I had my toolboxes. I had all kinds of stuff, plus all the stuff in my pickup, because it was my rig. So, and everything got stolen. They found my pickup about, I can't remember, roughly a month or two later. And it was pretty beat up. They'd been using it to do theft. And the tailgate was banged up. They'd ripped the leather seats. The console was busted. Tore the headliner. Well, my insurance made me go get it. I had to get it fixed and do all that. In the meantime, I'd already ordered and bought another one because I didn't have no rig. Yeah. And figured I ain't going to get it back. The insurance was about to settle with me, and then I had to do all that. So.
Oh, my gosh.
But that was my Canadian trip. But we had fun up there.
Have you been to Canada since?
I never went back. We always talked about going, but we did not go back.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about doing a trip to Revy with your dad.
Yeah.
At some point, it'd be fun.
So, maybe one of these years, if you get his shit figured out.
That was just that was one deal. We've had a lot of things, but we rode Stanley, Idaho. We always rode McCall. We used to ride Bend a lot. McCall, excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
didn't you look down in a volcano or something?
What's that?
Didn't you look into a volcano or something?
At Bend? I don't know. I can't remember. So
Mount St. Helens or something?
Oh, yeah. We rode Mount St. Helens and looked into that after it blew. We rode up in there.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a neat deal.
I bet.
Yeah. If you ever know where there. We went kind of late in the spring, and where it was, we rode up in there where you can turn around where they had the big oxygen bottle sitting up there. Seen pictures of it where it's all blowed out of the mountain. Quite a view. Look down that thing and the lava and the rocks are crackling in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Quite a deal. I guess we were supposed to be there. I don't know. We did it.
What year was
we supposed to be there?
So I've seen quite a bit. Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff on a snowmobile.
Yeah.
So over the years.
Yeah.
So
you got some other stories or something that you?
Oh, I mean, we can always jam on stories, but we can jam on other topics too. Yeah. Don't matter. What,
Do you have a favorite day on the snow that you can recall?
A favorite day on it? Man, that's a rough one. I'll tell you, when we first went to Canada in the Pemberton Ice Caps, I'm going to say that was probably one of my ultimates. We had guides. We took guides like they do still, and we had to ride across. They had the big, like snow bridges because of the great big craters or whatever, so you had to go certain places. But the view was something else up there in the Pemberton ice caps. That was probably, I would say that's probably one of my, for all around, it was cool.
Yeah.
So you could see the big ice caves, you know how when you look at the ice caves, how blue they are and stuff. It really showed that, because that's, I mean, those glaciers never go away up there.
Right.
I mean, they might now, you know, because of things, but that was probably one of my ultimate trips. The first time.
Yeah.
So, and we had a really good crew. We had a whole bunch of us that time when we went.
Yeah.
So,
do you have any stories of like crazy wrecks or injuries or?
oh, I've been wounded a few times.
Been wounded.
I've tore my knee up snowmobiling and got flipped over like over a cornice or something, and I took my foot peg in, tore my knees up. Did that in the Greenhorns. How'd
you get out?
I've been wounded a few times. Back when we were speedsters, when they go really fast, we'd blow through some corners and stuff, and end up through the trees and stuff. So,
yeah.
but everybody can have that anytime. Climbing hills, running into stuff. So
yeah. Any stories of like totaling a sled way back?
Oh yeah, we've had a few of those too.
Yeah.
What about like who was it? Wasn't it?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tyler with SledSend. Wanted to take a second of your guys' time and ask for your guys' support for what we're doing with the brand of SledSend. So if you guys are enjoying, the podcast episodes with all the different guests, the tour videos and such, check out SledSend.com. We have a variety of different merch. Every order comes with air fresheners and stickers. And like I said, we appreciate your guys' support.
Tractor
Oh,
we need
salesman,
it to continue to do this.
that was actually
himself.
his brother wrecked one over. We were going into Granite one time over towards Sumter. And so we've had a couple times where we've had to get the ambulance or somebody had to haul some guys out. So, but over all my years, it's actually, we've been very, very good and very careful.
No,
I mean, we've had a few wrecks, but nothing, no drastic anyway.
no life flight type.
No. I was up in the Eagle Caps one time where they had to, but it wasn't one out of my group. It was not.
Yeah.
So, but we were there with the guys because somebody had wrecked up in there. But,
What happened there?
I don't remember. Something happened up there. So, but no, we've had lots of deals. I've met a lot of people, rode a lot of different sleds. Of course, all the time, and how much change it is.
What's the wildest sled you've ever seen, you think?
Well, I still think my favorite one was when I put those the hot to go kits on it.
That's his favorite one.
It just back in that time, it was just a running son of a gun.
Yeah.
I remember we had drag races and stuff because they were just fast. And we were at Bend one time, and Dutchman Flats is down there, if I think that's right, where it's still there, a big old flat down there, and people would line up in races, and we were all down there one time. And, of course, 20, 30 sleds would show up, and we'd just start racing and going across these, and somebody would start us and drag race.
Yeah.
Stop and have a beer, and it just kept doing it. And finally, it was down to me and a guy, I think it was like a Thundercat of some sort. I can't remember back in the day, and I still had XCR 600 rode on mine. And but it had my XCR 600 that I built on it was on if you guys remember people talking about the Ultra days.
Yep.
It was the bigger crankshaft one. It wasn't the XLT version.
Okay.
So, but me and this other guy, out of about 30 sleds, it was down to the two of us, and we kept dragging, and finally one would win and one wouldn't, and we're both looking at each other going, well, I know that ain't no 700 and that ain't, and that guy was running like a big bore, like 900 or something back there.
Yeah.
And mine was a big bore 800. Okay. So I think that was I put that in 3 sleds, I think. I'd take that top end off, and once I got it figured out, then I'd order a new one and put it on, put the little cylinders back on it, and I'd sell it to a friend as a 600.
Okay.
So
There you go.
I think that was probably one of my, just back in the day, because you build it yourself and did a lot of stuff.
Right.
These sleds now, I love them. They're a blast.
Yeah.
Out of the box, these, the new boosts and stuff are just fabulous.
Crazy. Yeah.
But they're done. They're not I didn't build it myself.
Right.
Type thing.
Right.
So I guess on hands-on, we did a lot of work to make some of those run back then.
Yeah.
And you take pride in that. Just like you would if you did your pickup or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Any for either one of you, any fond like father-son riding memories that stand out to you guys, good or bad?
Oh, we've had really good ones. We probably feud
Yeah, I
too
don't
sometimes. But we've had, I tell you, we've had a lot of, our family has had a really good time. Coby's mom rides, Donna. She's always rode with me since we've been married and the kids. And I don't know, we've done it a family. It's a great family sport.
Yep.
We couldn't go local up here at our local club. And we've traveled quite a ways and, done trips too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would really, I will push that for people, it's kind of expensive nowadays, but if you can get into it, I don't really know very many people that take out and do it, and the families, they love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, well, we were just at McCall, you seen what the sleds were there and how many people were there. Yeah. They had that veterans ride deal. It's a great hobby.
Yeah. Yes. Nothing else like it.
It's probably not for everybody, but boy, I tell you what, 80% of the people that do it, I think they like it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I've took a lot of friends.
Yeah.
People, and they love it, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys, from time to time, when you have your special weekends and stuff, you guys can roll around with a pretty serious crew sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
we have a lot of friends we ride with.
Yeah.
Our groups get awful big.
Yeah.
But I've always kind of been that. I'm not going to tell somebody that, no, you're not going to ride with me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that kind of a person.
Right.
If they want to bring their kids and family, we'll go on a family day.
Yep.
There's always days where the guys can go.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And we do that a lot. Mm-hmm. We've had some great big turnouts at our cabin up out of Ukiah. I mean, we might have 30, 40 sleds out there and take pictures of it. We might do fireworks, kids there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Cook meals for everybody.
Oh, yeah. And great. Have big old spaghetti feed when we get back. We got a pretty big group that we ride with over that area.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was last year at Sumter? Because Jeff and I didn't go to it. You had like 40, 45
Oh,
people?
God, yeah, that was something. The Sumter trip. Jeez. That's one to remember, I guess.
Yeah.
Coby was there on all that.
The Sumter trip, I mean, we've been to halfway with more than that. We went to halfway one time, and we literally combined like that Sumter crew and our crew and this other crew, and then like some other local people that used to ride, like Jake Lindsay and those buddies. Jake still rides, but like his parents used to ride, aunt and uncle used to ride. I mean, like everybody's aunt and uncle and parents and brother and sister. They all that group rode, and they all they're onto the snow tracks, a little bit more, and which is to each their own. But their crew was up there, and I don't know what happened because I couldn't go in the bar at that time. We was all too young, so I'm sure me and the kids were playing, but they all got met up and something, whatever. Yeah, everybody can go together. Mm-hmm. And we literally had over like 50 sleds.
Oh gosh, I've had some big old.
We never even made it 5 miles up the Fish Lake Groom Trail just because we couldn't. I mean, the sleds were doing so much going, stopping, braking, like traffic, how when you brake and stop and traffic. Yeah. There was so much of that we couldn't get going anywhere. There was just too many sleds. And yeah, that was probably the biggest group I ever remember riding with.
It's fun if it's the right day to have a big group.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody's dream about the powder out there and have like 5 or 6 or 7 of us go and enjoy that day because, I mean, you can get a lot of covered and see a lot.
Yeah.
But I do like big groups too.
I think it's cool because it's like, people are like out here, they have to like, nothing, everything's great. We do our little ride, which is more personable. So I kind of like that. But Oxbow does like that huge ride, and it's just like all these big people, not saying it's a good thing or bad thing. They hype it up, to have this huge thing, get all these people out there. And then once they do, they're like, that was the sickest day ever. There was so many people like, holy crap, I've never seen that many sleds on the mountain. And I'm like, that's just another day for us. That's like our average thing, So it's like kind of cool that you can organize that many people, keep them all in a group together, and
it's good for you get big groups like that, yes, but it's great for the local businesses because you get all them together. They're all buying sleds, and if they buy them from our area or our dealership, and hopefully everybody's happy, and how that goes. So,
well, it's been brought up on the podcast before too. I've always heard that one huge benefit to that is the you're rolling with the Doughertys, the food's really good.
Yeah. Usually we don't shy too
Yeah,
much.
we usually have. Everybody likes to bring lots of muff pots and all that kind of stuff, and everybody has them on their sleds and stuff. So,
yeah, and it's like, you know, nothing against it. You know, we went and rode with Kyle. That was super cool that he does the little mountain ops or whatever
The peak. Yeah.
Deal, and then like that's cool. It's a great idea. You know, there's other guys that do jet boils and all that, and I'm like, that's great. That food is, I'm sure that tastes good at that time. I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
I would probably like it too, but you do not beat a mom of 4, you know, packing lunch for 15 or 20, you know, it's just crazy. We'd be up there and you got like peanut butter and jellies are whipping out like fresh cut, crust or no crust. And it's just like, what, where do you know, usually it's Uncrustables or something like that. And they got them fresh. Ham and cheese. They got ham, cheese, mustard, man. We're building sandwiches.
Got the grocery store on the tunnel.
It's
pulled pork sandwiches.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Stuff that, you know, I know Poncer's got the deal with
muff stuffers,
which I've looked at them. I'm like, dang, they have some really good looking stuff, and I've wanted to try some. But I mean, we do the same basically thing, except for instead of tinfoil and have to order it, the moms just make it for you. So pretty sweet there. I don't know, Cliff. Everybody that knows him, he's kind of a steak meat hound. So whenever we go to a place, you can usually bet on a good steak night.
Yeah.
Somebody has a leftover prime rib, slice that baby up the next day and put that in your muff pot, or put it in, you know, somebody that has one, and have her.
Unfortunately, Lardo's was all sold out by the time we got
Yes,
there.
we didn't get our prime rib at Lardo's the other day. A little disappointed in that one.
Yeah.
So they usually do very well, though.
Yeah.
So
it's cool too, walking into places, you know, and you got like 20 or 30 of you, and you just kind of walk in, and everybody's like, "Whoa, shit!" And you're just like. Yeah. We're in town.
What about you, Coby? A fond memory of riding sleds with your dad. The reason why I ask is because, I mean, with the amount of episodes that we've done and the amount of people that we've talked to, that's such a crucial thing for people getting involved in snowmobiling. Is it's a father-son, you know, it's passed down to your kids and whatnot. And so many people have expressed memories of, you know, that's how they got started, was from their dad.
Right.
You know, it's a very common theme within the sledding industry, I feel. And so that's why I brought up those questions, just because I don't know. We've done a father-son. We did the bunkies at Heydays there. I think that's the only father-son episode we've ever done. So it's cool to shine, you know, light on that, because it's a big thing within the industry. So is there something that
I would
comes to mind
say probably like early starting off, looking back at it, you know, it's like not necessarily the greatest core memory, but there'd be a lot of times like I'd pull up to something and I don't know like exactly when or what, and I'd be like, I can't do it, you know, I can't do it, and he'd just holler out just like, don't ever say that, you know, quit saying that, like, knock it off. You don't know what you can do, you know, just give it some throttle and see what happens, and then see what happens.
Throttle's your friend. That was a saying years ago. It's still the same.
So that's a pretty big one. That's not like an immediate memory. Probably the best core memory I've had was not riding. I would say it was when my sled got totaled, and I was like in the most bad state of mind ever. Like I wanted to go commit suicide. I was so mad. Because like that was my first ever big sled. We turboed it together. We built it together, all that, you know, and we always build other sleds together, but this was like the first real mod sled we did. And then it just got crumbled like that. And so I was just overall not happy. Like I'm very, very disappointed about the situation. I didn't want a new sled. I didn't want a different sled. I wanted that sled. And the whole time he was positive through it. Frickin' handled the whole thing, you know, by himself, figured it all out. And I was really afraid. I'm like, yeah, that sled's it's gone, insurance company. And we took that thing into the shop. He rebuilt this thing like 100%. And I was like, the whole time, I'm like, that ain't going to work. And he's just like, shut up and listen, just do it. And I mean, we're like swinging sledgehammers. I've never swung a sledgehammer on a sled, like full blown splitting wood and up on top and jumping on the sled and strings from the roof and all this. And we fixed this sled from head to toe and got it running again. So that was probably one of like the best memories, because when you're riding out there, you know, we escape from all of our troubles. So when you're riding a lot of time, there's just a lot of screw yous and here he goes and hip yahs and here he goes, and that was awesome and good jobs and you suck. So you kind of just get in the pace of like the giving each other shit, you know, and everybody just one-upping each other. So the snowmobiling deal is fun and all, but you really get to interact when you start working on a sled, you know, and you lose a screw in the bottom and that was his fault, but you're working together and you got to figure out how to find it yourself. And it's like, hey, I can't do this. And he's like, well, if you can't, then how the hell am I supposed to? What am I supposed to be better than you? You know, we got to figure it out together. So that would probably be my core memory, is working on them.
Yeah, that's a good memory. You guys just figured out working together, replacing a throttle cable not too long ago.
Yeah. And, you know, between me and him, we argued and did all that or whatever. And I think that's what helped me and Shay be able to do it so quickly, because I'm like, hey, just went over this. Just did it.
You guys were lucky on that. We did 2 of them, so he already knew it, right? We just did it in our shop. So,
and then I'd say thirdly would probably be like watching him be so negative and opposed to all of this like snowmobile change when it first started. So he loves new sled, right? And I know he loves the Snowchecked and all that, but I'll be on him and I'm never gonna let him go. When the turbo thing first came out, he was like, that is so stupid, man. My friend Aaron Heidemann, because he used to run like nitros and 4-strokes, turbo, whatever. He got one of them things. All it did was blow up on him down in the hole. You turbo them sleds and they're just going to fall apart. Things are, you know, we have troubles keeping them together to get how they are and all this, and just be happy with your can. And I was like, you can be happy with your can. I'm going to run a turbo. And just out of like everything, watching, you know, somebody go from a trail, not necessarily trail, but like you said, everything was back speedster and all, just way different modding systems, you know, seeing him go from there to understanding, you know, like all these new different things that they're doing. And he's like, holy crap, I understand why the tunnel's cut, you know, I understand why everybody loves the boost and the bigger lugs and the, you know, the running boards, lighter, all this different type of stuff. And it's really like, you can see it for a 60-year-old, he can rip pretty good.
Well,
you know, he was getting close to doing bow ties up there in McCall. And
well, when we were driving here, I was riding with Jeff, and I was telling Jeff how much fun I had riding with you in McCall, and how fun it was to just watch you rip. I mean, the one, I don't even know, in one of the bowls that we had dropped in,
that one big pull, the first day where we went. And I went up in there, and Tate and Coby were coming across the side hill. You were at the bottom taking a picture, I think. And then he came down and got on mine, and went past where I went. But I don't have a good. That's fun stuff, though.
Yeah. It was cool for me to just watch you just rip up some of that stuff. And then the one, it was the second day. It was one of the bowls that we were in, and we were kind of over. I think it was like a little pond thing. And that's when I first started filming, and you and Tate were doing stuff. And then you did some stuff, and then you cut all the way across, and then you climbed all the way up that. And then we all kind of migrated over there. I didn't climb it, but you sure as shit did.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to try it.
It was just cool to.
I can't do what these guys are doing now, but my age gets to me a little bit, and a little fear. But that's these new sleds and that boost. I do like it. That's. Because when I get up in them big old hills, the power, there's no problem. You're going to be pretty safe with the power. If you're running out of power and you're starting to get in trouble, that's when something happens. That they're kind of a spoiler for that. They just keep pulling. And I was always an open hill guy, you know, to big pulls anyway. I'm not a real tree guy, and I'm getting old. That's tough. But I still love the big pulls where you can get out on top, park on that cornice up there. Man, you can see some views.
Well, we did that on the first one. It wasn't a huge pull, but we pulled, and Coby's waving at you, and you pulled up over the cornice and went beep,
tipped over. I had to they had to lip on me on that one a little bit.
I tell him not to go there, then he goes.
And
there
I did that.
over.
I didn't say waving. Don't go on that spot. So, but I made it to the top anyway.
Let him sit there and think about it.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Think about what he's done.
So what sled have you currently been on?
What's that?
What sled are you riding right now?
850 boost, 165. And then I put the little shortened and tunnel kit on it. I've actually I had my 23 was the same way. when it got crunched, I put that shortening kit on it.
Yep.
Just shortens the tunnel a little bit.
Yeah.
Put a aftermarket front bumper on it, and then I run a Boondocker can on it.
Right.
So just because I had them, they were the first ones that was building them in 22, if I think that's right.
Yep.
And I got them from them, and I had 2 of them. So, and I'm real happy with those.
Yeah.
So, but it's a great running sled. I know they've had some troubles with some of them, some guys in the wiring. I've been very fortunate.
Yeah. Same.
I've had 3 of them, and they've all ran good.
Yeah.
And I put miles on them.
Yeah.
This year's probably one of the worst miles. Our snow has just been very limited. Everybody ran into it.
Yeah. The season's been kind of weird.
But we used to ride. I mean, back in the day, I'd put up to 2,000 miles on a sled before.
Yeah.
In a year,
Yeah.
which that's a lot for our country, and still work and do my stuff.
Yeah.
Now we're usually around 800.
Yeah.
1,000. This year, I bet my sled probably maybe 500 on it.
Yeah. I don't even know between both my sleds. I don't even
Because
know.
I wrote a couple. I wrote a demo. Justin gave us a demo, so we kind of shared that around.
The dog.
He'll be on here pretty soon, I think, right?
Yeah.
Justin
And so this 24 is a Chaos, right?
Yes,
But
it is.
Your 22 was a
My
Pro,
22 was a Pro.
right? So what made you switch to the Chaos?
They wouldn't let him have it. At first, you couldn't order a Chaos boost.
Yeah,
Remember?
the 22, there was only, in the boost, was only the Pro.
Okay.
And he wasn't happy about it because I think you were riding Chaos.
I was riding a 21
we were all
Chaos,
riding these, right?
which for
This
pulling,
style?
I still like the Pro better.
Yeah.
But the Chaos, just a little more, and I guess a little lighter feel, and a little jumper. You know how that's why everybody likes them.
Yep. Yep.
So then they came out with in 23 with the Chaos boost, and that's what I did. Had 100 miles on it, got crunched.
Yeah. Tell that story.
Oh gosh,
Well,
There's so many stories like that, though, that is like,
yeah.
it's
I could
crazy.
go on and on. That one was a little upsetting because it had 100 miles on it,
I'm
and
a
then we
little
got them
upsetting.
late in 23. That's when we couldn't get our sleds.
Yep.
And I finally got it. So
Shout out to Thomas Mavitt.
yeah, I don't know. It was just, no blame on everything. We were just having fun. Big old deep powder day.
Him and Thomas are buddies, so
Oh, yeah, we're
ain't-
all right.
He ain't gonna throw Thomas
He-
under
no,
the
No,
bus.
I know,
I
I
won't throw
was-
him under the bus.
Making jokes.
Thomas loves Cliff. Cliff loves Thomas.
There you go. So, unfortunately, Mike's sled got crunched in a little bit of looked like the stack up on I-95 or something. When you see in the fog or the snowstorms, looked like trucks. That's what it looked like when.
You ever,
But I
take
got.
like you ever take a beer can?
Mine
try to,
got
crunch it in
crunched.
between your hands. That's
So-
about what it looked like.
Yeah.
But I kind of did my own mod on it, did my shortening kit on it, fixed it all back up, and we ended up riding it all year anyway.
Yeah.
And then when I got my 24, I bought you guys were working with the Carbon
Pursuit.
kind of doing that.
Yep.
And then I ended up putting that kit on.
Yeah.
I think it was a skins kit.
Yeah. Yep.
So I like it. I think it's a little bit, for me, it makes the 165 a little bit more like a 155.
Yeah.
Just a little less drag.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the longer track just because I'm older. I won't get in trouble. If I need to make that pull to get over that cornice without crashing, I think I can make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of why I've stuck with the longer track.
Yeah. Yep.
And if I'm leading, we go up, say we get real deep snow and I'm leading, I can kind of stop and go with it and it won't bury me.
Yeah.
So that's why I've always stuck with it.
Yeah.
The other ones are fun. I could ride one. I probably, I might get one. I don't know. So
Which is, if you take the ultimate mountain navigating sled, that
Yeah.
would be a 165,
Right.
not a 155.
well, and I don't do the
so-
bow ties, and I don't
Yeah.
do the tree riding as much like you guys like to ride the trees, and then I can't just do that no more.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's why they make both.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
they have variants for everybody.
for
I
everybody.
didn't tell you because we were waiting on you and Tate. One of the times that we were sitting there waiting for you.
One of the times we're waiting on them.
But I threw your dad on the 146
Oh, yeah.
9R for a little bit. It's been a while since he's
Yeah.
ridden that short of a track.
It was pretty jumpy.
Yeah, very like short feeling
Yeah.
behind you and
They are
lightweight.
very short feeling
Yeah.
and light, just everything.
Yeah.
The front end rear's really easy. So
And that snow up in that bowl though, that was a little tough for the 146er.
Yeah.
that'd be a
When
handful.
I hopped on for it, yeah, she didn't really want to.
But that was some big. That was a pretty big bowl.
That's a
Yeah, it
huge
was.
hill.
And great snow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Doesn't go 146s with 2 to 3
Yeah.
feet of powder.
We were
and
in.
Yeah.
We were in some good
ginormous-
powder.
Ginormous elevation poles
Yeah.
are not really your ideal
Yeah.
situation, but
Well, and back in the day, a 144 was a long track.
Yeah.
I mean, now we're just so used to these big ones with the way they go in it. So,
It's crazy.
what do you think?
and they handle good.
What do you think about the 174s never taken off really? You don't ever see or hear too much about them.
I just think they're just.
I mean, some people
do. You got to be able to turn them around on a mountain and all that stuff. If you're just out plowing, all you do is just pulling all the time, I guess it'd be fine. But if I try to follow him or you guys in the trees, it's a handful. It's a handful. So
that's funny.
But is there an ending story that you want to in this episode with that you can think of, or something you want to touch on? Or
you guys heard all my life here. I don't know. Enough about me, probably. I'll tell you. I know you guys. Going to be a little deal with you guys. SledSend stuff been very good with Coby. I appreciate that. All you guys doing that. Grain Growers helping you guys sponsor too, I think. And all your sponsors. Kind of a big deal for. I'm getting older. I don't. Some of that stuff, we used to do stuff, and that's great race and follow the racing guys and stuff.
Sure.
It's a whole new deal. Pretty cool. I know he's enjoyed it a bunch. You guys have seen some neat stuff. You guys brought me back a nice hat from
Albany.
Albany
Lodge.
I've seen pictures and all the stories on that. Pretty cool.
Heck
kind of all revolves around the snowmobiling deal. We've enjoyed it so much. I said I've seen a lot of stuff snowmobiling. You've seen a lot of, Coby's seen a lot of stuff now. And you have too.
Been to a lot of places.
You guys have made some pretty good trips. Little driving, but it is fun to go do that if you can do it.
Absolutely.
So it's cool. We get to meet a lot of the other kids and somebody like Cole Keats, that's getting to do all kinds of crazy things and go to New Zealand and back or whatever. But it's nuts that, sports like this where, I don't know, back in the day, nearly mountain sledding would have gotten somebody anywhere like that, or jet boat racing, for Cole and his sakes. But it's cool that, small town kids that aren't your LA mainstream or your TikTokers necessarily, can find a niche in their own little habitat and then make it like not worldwide, but pretty dang spread out, I'm pretty close to worldwide because we were talking to a dude from Sweden on the podcast. So, like I said, I would have never, I've always wanted to talk to different people from not in the U.S. or whatever. And it's like, you wouldn't get that conversation talking to the owner of the leading one of the leading snowmobiling companies, without SledSend. So pretty cool. We're seeing a lot of places. I get to go with them and see a lot of places between the two of everybody. We're seeing a lot of country. 23 years old, and I'm snowmobiling, and this is where I'm at. I'm kind of scared to see what the next 20 years brings.
That's crazy.
And what kind of changes might be.
Where's the sleds going to be in 20 years from now?
I have no clue. We'll touch on that when I figured more when we get Bailey on the next episode. But
because we've talked about that a lot. I said, they can't do anything else. And
the sledding deal. But I'm looking at like the sledding industry as a whole. Just as everything goes on, you got to look at the whole picture of where do you ride. Are you going to always be able to ride there? A tough thing with us is over by our cabin. That place is getting very tough to ride. Like he said, it burnt 10, 15 years ago for him, and now it's getting like, oh, well, we can't ride there. Or we used to be able to ride there. Well, what's going to happen in 15 years for me over there? Like what?
A lot of reprod, a lot of regrowth.
What's not only that stuff,
but
it all cycles. It all cycles.
Not only so much the natural stuff like that, but also people trying to shut our access into
that's what I mean.
Land down.
Skiers, I think Bachelor down there. I'm not too much into it, but I didn't realize I should have been until I hung out with Thomas Mabbitt's dad, Dave, a little bit, and that guy is just smarter than a whip, and he's into stuff like that, He's like into who's trying to take away my land, who's trying to take away my fun. So, and Dave, he cares so much about it because he wants his boy to be able to do it and his grandkid to be able to do it. Yep. So Dave's in on it, and he is explaining to me how there's all these groups that are literally out there working against us to get rid of what we're doing, and we're over here, not everybody, but me, pretty much.
Well, that's why
we have
That's why we have OSSA though and stuff, and they're fighting for us to keep our things going.
Yep.
That's a plug you should give.
We pay our dues and all that for our clubs and all that. That's where all that comes. Your dues, all that fighting for trails and all that stuff.
Yep.
That's a great thing to go with.
How do we get what's Four Corners Snowmobile Club, or what is all that?
Well, it's just OSSA is your Snowmobile Association, and that's where that's Oregon.
Yeah.
Everywhere's got different ones, whatever it is. But Oregon sponsors all of our stuff. We got a Four Corners Club is here where we're at. That's our snowmobile club.
Right.
Everybody donates that. We put on, this year was kind of bad because we kind of missed out.
How do you get into that or donate to that?
You can just go to, you can get a hold of me. You can get a hold of our secretary. We have a website.
We'll put it
Four
in
Corners
the
website.
description.
You can get
You
a
go
hold
there.
of anybody
It's
on the
online.
SledSend crew.
And you can go there and you can donate to it. You buy your, everybody pays their dues. And part of it goes to, most of it goes to the Oregon part of it.
Yeah.
And then the club gets part of it.
There you go.
And then,
But that just keeps your area active. That, like, we get a groomer for our area and we do trail trimming and all that stuff. So that all kind of revolves around.
play day.
It's important.
So
Yep. Yeah, I was really looking forward to the play day this year.
missed
but
out on that. That would have been great for you guys too. Could have rode a little bit. Unfortunately, our smaller mountains, and they did predict the weather, said those smaller mountains are going to get hurt. Anything low elevation this year just was not very good.
Yeah.
No.
So you had to go to the higher country to ride.
Yep.
And if so, that hurt us.
Hurts the club, hurts
Hurts
the
the local dealer
dealership,
too. So
hurts.
hopefully it'll come back. We've seen it before. It ain't the first time.
Yep. Right.
So, but yeah, that was the kind of final run on that. I was back to you guys. Appreciate you doing all this. And for next year, I would like to get with you guys, because I never got to ride with Jeff.
Yep.
And Shay almost got to ride with us, but not quite. But we had a couple little deals just for close up here to ride, and we didn't make it work.
Yep.
So hopefully next year I get to ride with you guys a little bit more.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that was kind of our plan today too. Just Jeff and I are going to have some chats with Justin about next season and what we can be more involved with and more events and
Perfect
and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty important to us. And as SledSend grows, like as a team too, we want to play more of a role in these clubs, play more of a role in, I don't know what all that looks like, getting involved in this whole land stuff with people trying to shut it down and,
Right.
and how we can share more of a voice and, utilize this platform that we have to, bring more awareness to that kind of stuff. So it's definitely, it's on our list of to-dos for this next season.
Yeah.
So,
And a guy kind of needs to do it. It's easy to say, oh, somebody else will do it, but then pretty soon maybe there ain't going to be somebody else doing it.
Yeah.
So we usually, we try to donate, you can donate money to that kind of stuff too if you go to the right contacts.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, cool. Well, awesome. We'll wrap this episode up. We're going to take a break and then we're going to get into another episode. Oh, I haven't forgotten. I do want to say, Cliff, thank you for taking the time to be on the episode.
All right.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, it's been something Coby and I have talked about a few times. So I'm glad that we could get it lined up before you have to, especially before you have to leave to California.
Yeah, super cool that I got to do that.
So yeah, thank you for being here, Cliff. And at the end of every single episode, we have our guest ask the listeners and viewers a question, and then we clip it and we use it for social media. So is there something that you would like to ask directly to the listeners and viewers? It could be about anything. It could be about sleds. It could be about gear. It could be about location. It could be.
I guess I'd follow up with that. I would like to know for all the future people coming, help out. What would you guys like to do? How would you keep sponsoring it? I've been doing it for years, riding snowmobiles, keeping the dealers buying your stuff. I'd like to keep people. What would you like to do to help and keep things going for our industry? And kind of back to my family thing. It's great for families. A lot of people that kids have trouble. This is you keep your family together and do it. It's very enjoyable.
Yep.
So I'd appreciate people to donate, join your clubs, keep in contact with you guys because you guys are pushing this stuff.
Yep.
Keep something going. I've been riding for a long time. I hope it can keep going.
Yep.
It's getting a little harder. Snowmobiles are getting some more money.
Yeah.
But everything else is too.
Yep.
So keep the industry going, and hopefully go snowmobiling.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would be your biggest
good
advice
question.
to the old guys that are kind of like you, that are getting to that age of like, should we hang it up or should we Should I keep going?
Well, I know some guys that, and I've been there a little bit, like lose a little bit of interest in it. Now I've got some guys that I rode with that don't snowmobile no more, and I'm going, I see why they kind of did, why they quit. Maybe it gets tougher.
Yeah.
My advice: we ride with quite a few guys. We got some friends that are still my age. Keep active, keep going. Better than sitting on the damn couch.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
So
I
I'd rather be doing that than watching friggin' basketball or something. I do like football though.
Yeah.
I do like football, though.
I'll catch that on Monday night.
You and
Yeah.
Jeff both.
So
Jeff
There
don't
you
miss
go.
football for nothing.
that's where I would go with that.
Cool. Good.
And thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was a really, really good episode. You did really well. Talked really good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good stuff. Well, cool. SledSend listeners, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. And be sure to catch the next one. We're going to sit down with Justin Bailey from Morrow County Grain Growers, and we're going to talk all things model year 2025. So be on the lookout for that one as well. And we'll talk to you guys soon.